How you doing? Doing well. 5 games trip, 5 games in 8 days. Just what are the points of emphasis as you guys start the trip here?
Keep moving forward. We watched an edit of our game against the Pacers this morning with the team and made a lot of mistakes and all very correctable, and just making sure the players' energy and spirit is still in a good place, because we can still accomplish quite a bit this season, but got to improve the effort and the focus from last game.
What jumped out beyond the effort and focus? What jumped out about the mistakes you guys made on Friday?
Position defense, shot selection, physicality, force, and it all ties together.
You've mentioned that, a desire to play two big lineups at times, particularly with Trace and Draymond. Is this the I know they don't have Towns, but is this the type of team you would imagine needing to do that?
Yeah, they're still a massive team. They start Reed instead of Towns, so they still have another 7-footer next to Gobert and length across the board. So very good chance we'll play Draymond and Trace together some tonight.
What have you thought of that small sample?
I like it. It's
Yeah.
good defensive lineup, and we can make it work spacing-wise.
You mentioned the lack of effort in transition defense. Is it surprising to you this time of the season, given what's at stake, that you had a game like you did against the Pacers?
It's bad habits more than anything, and a lot of stays. We call them stays. You don't crash, you don't sprint back, and you just stand there. And that's on us as coaches. We just haven't been able to get that message across. We haven't been able to teach it well enough, and so it's a group effort, and we got to find a way to get it across to our guys. We talk about the first 3 steps all the time in either direction, and that tape was just so alarming. The Pacers play at the #1 pace in the league, and they were pushing the ball every play, and we just had stay after stay. And there's a reason we lost. So we've got to find a way to teach it better. We've got to do it better.
I assume Nemhard had a layup with 3 minutes left. That was probably the most egregious of those. Was that
On there? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Assumed. All right.
Steve, you had Ant with Team USA. Just how long did it take you to kind of see everything that he brought to the table from more of a personality, kind of competitive standpoint as he got to camp, and you were trying to kind of figure out how he was going to fit into the group there?
Yeah, just a few days, honestly. I remember the first day we scrimmaged. Maybe it was the second day. I think we scrimmaged the select team, and we brought Ant off the bench, and he was, he didn't say anything, but he wasn't real thrilled. And we didn't play well. The next day we switched it up. He started. We played a lot better. And at that point, it was like, yeah, he's going to be in our starting lineup. He's really good. So, you go in with you go into these things with maybe some thoughts and ideas, and you always have to kind of, play around with different lineup combinations, different roles. But he made it abundantly clear right away that he was the man on that team.
And then with this Wolves team, where does Naz Reid figure into your scout, and just what kind of problems he can present on a nightly basis?
Yeah, he kills us. He's the Warriors' killer. He has had so many good games against us. Obviously, the spacing, the floor at that position makes things really difficult. With both Naz and Cat, it's necessary for them to get some spacing with Gobert, obviously, and they've really seemed to have figured it out this year. Playing Naz, playing Cat, it allows them to stay really big across the board, but still space the floor and have Rudy as a dive threat. So Chris has done a great job just kind of figuring out the puzzle, and they're having a wonderful season, and they've earned everything. They took a lot of flack for the Rudy trade. They've put their chips in the middle, and they're backing it up. They're having a great year.
It's been a while since this happened, and a lot has happened since then with Draymond and Rudy and the altercation back in November. Is that something you guys even have to acknowledge, or just know that there might be some animosities, some chippiness throughout?
I didn't even think of it until Raymond just mentioned it 5 minutes before.
I'm glad I wasn't the first one then.
Yeah. So it's been so long. For me, I focus on my guys, and I'm so proud of Draymond for the way he's come through that suspension. What he did that night to Rudy was just awful, just dead wrong. And, clearly didn't affect him enough, the suspension. I think he got suspended a couple games, 5, but that didn't affect him enough to change his behavior, because when he came back, he took the swing at Nurkic in Phoenix, and I really think his career was on the line at that point. I really do. Like the way, our discussions with the league, I think, the nature of the suspension, indefinite, it was clear that the league wanted to see real change, and we all did, because I've said this many times, yelling at the ref or getting a flagrant foul, that's just being a competitive NBA player. But when you strike someone, when you grab somebody by the throat, that's different. And so what was happening was different. Punching Jordan, it was different and scary and alarming, and so I could not be more proud of Draymond for the way he has handled everything since the suspension ended. And we were all wondering, could you really make a significant change within a month? I think he was out a month or so. Could you still play at a high level if you did make that change? Could you still be an effective player? Could you still be a leader on your team? How do you figure all that stuff out? Draymond is one of the smartest, most emotional people I've ever met, passionate. And he's done it. He's figured it out. He's been incredibly competitive and an amazing leader and mentor for his younger teammates, and he's helped us win a bunch of games, and he's walked the line perfectly. Gotten a couple texts for yelling at the refs, but he has not crossed that line, and nor do I expect him to. I hate that happened to Rudy and to Nurkic. I hate that happened to Jordan. I've said this many times. I hate that all that happened, but I couldn't be more proud of the way Draymond has responded, and he's gotten his career and his life back on track. It's wonderful.
Coach, there was a difference between your teams a season ago at home versus on the road. This season, 18 wins at home, 18 wins on the road. But just eyeball test from your perspective, what's the difference with your group and how you're playing away from San Fran?
I have no idea. I don't. I couldn't figure it out last year. Why we were 33-8, I think, at home last year. Couldn't win a road game to save our life. It seems to have flipped. Couldn't figure it out last year. Have no idea why this year.
I'm just going out there and competing. It's not in particular. I'm just going out there and competing and do what I do best. I'm able to find loopholes and things like that to, have an advantage against them, I guess. Like I said, I'm just, playing my best, putting my best effort forward.
Gary Payton, the second got you going. He was talking trash to you, and then all of a sudden you hit a big three, came back and was like, "Yeah, I do this."
Nah, he wasn't talking trash. That's my dog.
Okay.
We just competing. I think I was talking more trash to Steph than anybody. So. Yeah.
What was you saying to Steph? Something.
We were just, competing, just having some fun. I told him he couldn't guard me, and then he said he came back and scored and was like, "Y'all can't guard me." So it was, it was fun.
There you go. To answer your question, it feels good. Feels good, yeah.
I see you work on it a lot in practice, so it feels good to translate in the game.
It's normally you and Big. I think about you when we play ones. You don't remember when you play one. We were playing ones.
Right playing wrong man, all right?
Well, so you see, Kerr's foot was right there. He kind of stepped on Rudy's foot, so that's what caused him to fall down. But